Hi, I'm Varsha, thanks for joining me. I am going to show you today how to decorate a cake to make it look like a cartoon effect. So I first saw this cake on George's Cakes a couple of months ago and I thought it was amazing. She had decorated a cake using pale coloured buttercream, but it didn't look like a real cake. It looked like it was a cartoon cake that had been cut out and pasted into her real picture. And this cake, like, I loved it. When I saw it a couple of months ago, I kind of decided then that I need to replicate this, but none of my customers have ordered anything like that. So I thought, right, it's my birthday week. This is my birthday cake. And as with any baker, we make our own birthday cakes. So what I'm gonna attempt to do today is decorate this cake using various colors of buttercream to make it look like a cartoon. I'm going to give it my best go. Can't promise it's going to be as good as George's Cakes, but I'm going to give it a shot. So what we've got today is some pink buttercream, so very pastel sort of pale colours, purple, yellow and blue. And what I've done actually is put them into piping bags, and only the pink has a nozzle on it because it's the only Wilton to a sort of round nozzle that I had, and so I've got other really small ones, but they're no good for what we're about to do. So what I've done with the others, you can see, is I've just put it in a piping bag and I've just cut the end off, and it kind of creates its own O at the end. I'm going to give it a go. I don't know whether this is going to be good enough, but I don't have enough piping nozzles, so I'm going to work with what I've got. So here's my cake. It is a 6-inch 4-layer cake. It is Biscoff on the inside, not that that makes a difference to the decorating, but just for information. And then the outside has been decorated with white chocolate ganache, so I have like a nice smooth blank canvas to work with. This has been chilled in the fridge for a couple of hours, so it's nice and firm, and this is my canvas that I'm going to now decorate. Okay, so different angle here. I've had to move the camera so that you're placed and facing what I'm about to do. So, really nervous here, but okay, let's give this a shot. So what I'm going to do is pipe some like drips, or what I hope look like drips, on to the cake. And these aren't, obviously, this is not how you do a drip on a cake. These are like fake looking buttercream drips, or they should be anyway. And what I'm going to do is fill these in afterwards with the pink and flatten them out, so you'll see. And what I'll do is just go along the top. I'm not going to cover the whole top, just because I'm going to pipe some swirls on these afterwards, so it's really not necessary. Just fill it in a little bit, although having said that, I could probably just spread it. Right, see what I mean? You're going to have to bear with me because I'm very much learning here, and you guys are learning with me, really. I probably have used a bit much. I'm going to attempt to take some of it off the top, just so it kind of blends a bit. And there we go. Final bit, just smoothing that out. It's not perfect, but because it's a cartoon effect and I'm about to do some additions to it, I'm hoping I can smooth out the imperfections. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is use the other colours, so blue, pink and purple, and I'm going to try and pipe some circles on this cake. So, like this. And what you have to do is push into it so that you don't get like peaks, because you don't want them to have peaks on them. It's actually working not too bad, to be honest, given that I don't have a nozzle. So if you do try this and you don't have enough piping nozzles, just snip the end of your piping bag off, and it seems to work fine. Right, showed up some more ones as well. And then if I go in with some purple, so I might just do some medium-sized ones in purple. Here we go with the yellow, so add some colour in. Biggish one there. So many of you may not know what a cartoon cake is, so you may not even have an idea about what I'm doing and what it's meant to look like at the end. So I will obviously show you at the end and then compare it to Georgia's, which I don't know whether it's such a good idea or not, because mine is nowhere near as good as hers. But I do want to show you what I've attempted to do, and then if anyone's ever brave enough, you can go ahead and give it a go yourselves. My pointed spatula and just smooth out these circles. So try and make them as smooth as possible. So they almost look like pastel coloured polka dots. There we are. They don't have to be perfectly round. I think, like I said, there's some give on this cake where, due to the effect I'm trying to achieve. So as you can see, oh, I made a bit of a mess. So here's the joy of an angled spatula, where I can just use the point and just wipe it clean. Pointed spatula, sorry. Although it's a pointed angled spatula. And I've just managed to clean that off. So what I'm doing here is just doing all the yellow first, so that I can then wipe my spatula and then do the other colours separately, so I don't mix them all up and end up with a funny hue. You do need a bit of patience, but hopefully, as with any cake, the end result will be worth it. I'm trying to do this without touching any of the other colours. So in hindsight, when I was piping the blobs, what I would have done is not released as much buttercream, so that there wouldn't be as much to take off. And also I'd have been more careful about there not being like peaks. Like for example, this one here is like way too much, so I think the best thing to do, so it doesn't smudge and become a huge circle, is just try and take as much off the top as I can without stabbing the cake. Okay. That bit's a bit messy. But the beauty of my base being chocolate ganache and not buttercream is, because it's more solid, I'm able to kind of scrape away at it a bit and get rid of the yellow without ruining the buttercream, because it's not buttercream, it's ganache. So there you go, I've done all the yellows. There we go. Some of them aren't as flat as I'd like them to be. So go in and just take a bit more off. There we go. Right, so now that's done, wipe your spatula, get rid of the yellow, and start with the blue. So with the blue, I'm going to go in and do the same. Where here, I definitely got a bit trigger happy and put way too much blue buttercream on. Trying to be careful not to make it into a bigger circle than it already is, because A, I've piped this one big anyway. B, it's really close to the pink drip, and if I smudge it into the pink, then it won't look so great. So, trying to take it off without making it super big. Here we go. Right, we have all the polka dots now. And the drip. Put the cake into the fridge just to chill for a little while, just so that the top bit sets a bit, because I'm going to pipe some swirls on the top. So what I've got here is a piping bag filled with a mix of blue and purple buttercream and a 1M nozzle. I only have one 1M nozzle, so I've decided to mix the buttercream colours so that I can just use the one nozzle rather than using the nozzle, piping one colour, emptying that buttercream out, washing the nozzle, and then reusing it for another colour. So what I'm going to do is just go in at the top here and just pipe some cartoon sort of looking swirls. And what I do when I pipe, to make them even, is I do opposite ends. So I will do the cross, and then that way I know that they're evenly spaced. I'm running low on buttercream here, but I should have just enough for the last swirl. And there we go. What we've got so far. To finish it off, what I need to do is pipe black lines all along the edges of all the shapes, and that's what gives it the cartoon effect. So where the cake has been for the past hour is actually in the freezer. So what that's done is it's made it super hard, it's made the buttercream like set so that I'm able to pipe over it. So what I've got here is a piping bag with black buttercream and a really thin nozzle on the end. It's the number 2 Wilton nozzle. And what I'm going to do is pipe around the edges. To make the black buttercream, I just took normal buttercream. It was actually the coloured one from here because I didn't want to waste it. I added some cocoa powder to it to make it a dark brown, and then I just added a little bit of black food colouring, and you can see that it's got a nice black food colour buttercream from there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if you can see, is just pipe along the top edge of this shape. Hands a little bit wobbly. That's not joined. Can you see? That's immediately kind of given it like a comic sort of effect. Well, I think it has anyway. My hand is shaking loads. That's not exactly round, so I need to work on the hand not shaking so much. Let's try again. That one's a bit better. What I may do, because these are small areas, is maybe start on bigger area so that my hand wobbles, it's not as bad. What I'm also going to do is put a clip on the end of the piping bag, so that kind of stops it from leaking out the other side. Let's try if we pipe along here. That's easier. And what I'm doing is piping along the top edge. So it's almost like drawing an outline on your cake, which is super fun. Got to keep it moving or else you get wobbly lines, as you can see. So can you see, it's not, could be neater, and I'll work on my neatness in terms of not making my hand shake. The problem that I have is I have arthritis in my hands, so I don't have, and I'm right-handed, and I don't have much strength in my hands, and because it's such a small piping nozzle, I'm having to squeeze it fairly hard to get the buttercream out. And then my hand is shaking, which is not great. But here we go. Okay, it's working a bit better now. Okay, so I think that's most of the spots, all the spots done. So what I'm going to do is carry on doing the drip part of it. Keep turning the turntable. My lines are a bit shaky. Hopefully your hands are better than mine. What I'm going to do is pipe like a border on the edge of the cake. So go in at the bottom. Again, my hand is so shaky. And just keep turning the turntable, squeezing the piping bag. Oops. Don't worry if you get it wrong, you can always use the nozzle to wipe it off and clean the board afterwards. And then if I go in and do the same on the top, hand is really shaking. Try going from right to left. Doesn't work so well because I can't see where I'm going, so I have to go from left to right. Right to left, sorry. There we go. Now all that's left is to pipe some of the swirls at the top. So what I'm going to do is just do some random lines like that. And these are solid because this has been in the freezer. So don't try piping until you've made sure that your buttercream is completely solid. There we have it. We have my version of the George's cake, cartoon cake, for my birthday, and also to celebrate my yay for 1K, because I have 1K followers now, or just over, so thank you for all of you that follow me. Every birthday cake needs a candle, so just going to pop this on the top. And there we are, voila.